Hey everyone, this is Mitch with YourBitcoin.Expert, where we help you learn Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin, and secure Bitcoin. Today, we're going to go high level and discuss one of the most important questions regarding Bitcoin. What is money? The answer to the what is money question is something that many of us take for granted. To most of us, money is simply what we use to buy food, housing, and anything else we need or want. Money is how we get paid for our work. But what makes for high quality money versus low quality money? Similar to how communication tools like telephones or the internet allow humans to transfer information, money is a tool that allows humans to transfer value. In order to be functional, a money must be able to transfer value in 3 different ways. First, it has to transfer value across time. Second, it must transfer value across space. And third, it must be able to transfer value at scale. Let's break each one of these down. The first point, transferring value across time, is just a fancy way of saying that a money holds value over time. In other words, if I have enough money to pay for a nice house today, will this same amount of money be able to buy a nice house in 5 years, 20 years, or even 50 years? In order to effectively transfer value across time, the money needs to be scarce. The more limited the supply, the better the money will hold its value across time. When thinking about value over time, it's helpful to think of money as a battery that leaks a certain amount of energy each year. If given a choice between a battery with 1% annual leakage or 20% annual leakage, you would undoubtedly choose the battery with 1% leakage, simply because it is more effective at storing power as time goes on. Similarly, you'd rather have a money that only loses 1% of its value each year compared to a money that loses 20%. Next up is transferring value across space. Transferring value across space doesn't mean outer space, at least not yet. Transferring value across space simply means I can send value to my neighbor. Or, on a more global scale, someone in India can transfer value to someone in Nigeria, or vice versa. In order to transfer value across space effectively, money needs to be lightweight. Elephants would make for poor money. It also needs to be durable across large distances. Coffee mugs would also make for poor money.
Oh, what?
Historically, things like seashells and beads were used as money, at least in part because they did a good job of transferring value across space. As time went on, humans found even more durable forms of money, such as silver and gold, which replaced seashells and beads. In modern society, we can now transfer value across space without any physical object at all, thanks to the internet. The last requirement for money is that it can transfer value at scale. Put simply, this means that money can be subdivided into small units or combined together for large purchases. For example, the dollar has worked as money because A, it is divisible into smaller units called cents, and B, it is easy to combine many dollars together to buy more expensive items. To find something that would fail the transfer at scale test, consider a piece of artwork. Artwork would lose its value if it was cut into smaller pieces. Thus, it is impossible to use for smaller transactions. And there is typically only one original piece of art, thus it is unable to be combined with like units to facilitate larger payments. Now that we've covered the 3 requirements of money, let's evaluate the history of different monies according to this framework. First, seashells. Seashells were used as money in primitive societies. Why? Travel was much more difficult back then, so someone couldn't easily raid another nation for their seashells and instantly become rich. Thus, the total number of seashells in a community were fairly limited. Transferring value across time? Check. Next, seashells are lightweight and relatively durable. This allowed community members to transport them across town or even to nearby cities relatively easily. Transferring value across space? Check. Lastly, seashells can be divided into smaller units, simply by breaking or cutting them into smaller pieces. Similarly, multiple seashells can be combined together for more expensive purchases. Transferring value at scale? Check. If seashells check all the boxes, then why don't we still use them for money today? Basically, as time went on, humans discovered other items that checked the three boxes even more effectively than seashells. Thus, we migrated to these better forms of money. For thousands of years, the premier form of money was gold. Gold was far more scarce than seashells, allowing it to transfer value across time better than anything else on Earth. It was also far more durable than seashells, allowing it to be transferred across the ocean without suffering damage. Finally, gold is more easily divisible because it can be melted and reformed, thus making it much more effective than seashells at transferring value at scale. Now, this begs the question, why don't we use gold as money anymore? Gold ultimately failed as money in our globalized world because it was ineffective at transferring value across space. If a nation wanted to send a huge amount of value across the ocean, this was highly dangerous and expensive. Even for local transactions, gold needs to be cut down into small slivers, weighed, and verified for authenticity, which can be expensive and take a lot of time. So while gold was a fantastic store of value, it didn't provide an efficient method for humans to transact with each other on a global scale. This is where the current mainstream form of money comes in. To solve for gold's problems in transferring value across space, we created paper claims on the gold. For example, $1 bill could be exchanged for a certain amount of gold. This effectively combined gold's ability to transfer value across time with paper money's ability to transfer value across space and at scale. Eventually, nations decided that they no longer needed to allow for dollar bills to be exchanged for gold, thus removing gold's ability to transfer value across time from the equation. From this point onward, the dollar's ability to transfer value across time was subject to how many new dollars the government decided to print. If they printed 0 new dollars, their money would transfer value across time quite well. However, if they printed lots of new dollars, their money could quickly become devalued. Eventually, all governments moved to this system of money, which is called fiat money. Fiat means by decree. In other words, the government is simply decreeing that whatever it chooses to provide as money should be used as money. Some nations have managed their fiat money relatively successfully, while others, such as Zimbabwe, Turkey, and Venezuela, have ruined their money, leaving their citizens with worthless bills. If the flaws of seashells drove us to move to gold, and the flaws of gold drove us to move to fiat money, then what will the flaws of fiat money lead us to next? Bitcoin provides a superior solution to the problems faced by seashells, gold, and fiat money. Let's look at each of our 3 main categories through a Bitcoin lens. First, transferring value across time. Right now, there are about 18.6 million Bitcoins in existence. Every day, about 900 new Bitcoins are released into the world. Every 4 years, this amount of new Bitcoins gets cut in half, making it more and more scarce as time goes on. Whenever the total supply reaches 21 million Bitcoins, there will be no more new Bitcoins. As a money with a completely known and finite supply, Bitcoin is the best money humans have ever seen at being able to transfer value across time. Second, transferring value across space. While fiat money can and does transfer value across space, it can be quite slow or even impossible in some instances. Transferring value between bank accounts, even when done online, can take days or even weeks for larger transactions. Banks are closed in the evenings, overnight, weekends, and holidays. In some more authoritarian nations, the people do not even have an option to transfer value outside of their own nation using fiat money. With Bitcoin, anyone with an internet connection or a satellite can now transfer value to anyone in the world in under an hour at any time, 24/7, 365. Thus, Bitcoin is the best money humans have ever seen at being able to transfer value across space. Lastly, transferring value at scale. While fiat money scales quite well, down to a single penny in the US, it isn't suitable for micropayments, and, as discussed earlier, large payments can take days or weeks to process, with massive transaction costs and potential security risks. Bitcoin is far more divisible than fiat money. One Bitcoin is divisible into 100 million smaller units called satoshis or sats for short. This allows for fans of a podcaster to send micropayments that are worth fractions of a penny directly to the podcaster rather than have to listen to ads. These micropayments can leverage the Lightning Network, which is a protocol built on top of Bitcoin that allows for instant and nearly free transactions. For larger payments, Bitcoin can easily be combined into as much as you need to pay and zipped around the world in less than an hour. Right now, someone could send billions of dollars worth of value across the globe in an hour with less than a $20 fee. Because it tackles micropayments and larger payments so effectively, Bitcoin is the best money humans have ever seen at being able to transfer value at scale. From seashells to gold to fiat to Bitcoin, while this may sound far-fetched, Bitcoin continues to gain global adoption. Why? People across the world are incentivized to use the form of money that is best at transferring value across time, across space, and at any scale. Bitcoin is superior on all of these fronts. As more and more people realize this, adoption of Bitcoin should continue to accelerate. That's all I've got for today. If you enjoyed this video breakdown about why Bitcoin is superior money, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for future content breaking down various thoughts, opinions, and claims about Bitcoin. If you'd like a private one-on-one Bitcoin consultation to help learn Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin, or secure Bitcoin, you can schedule a video session at YourBitcoin.Expert, linked below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.